This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 41, verse 12 and 13. And it reads, "Have regard to thy name, for that shall continue with thee above 1,000 great treasures of gold. A good life have but few days, but a good name endureth forever." So with that, giving all praises, glory, and honor unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. YAHAWAH is the name of the Heavenly Father, in whom the world has ignorantly called Jehovah, or Yahweh. And YAHAWASHI is the name of his only begotten Son, in whom the world has ignorantly called Jesus Christ, in whom we do worship. We are the Hebrew Israelites, which consist of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, and some of the Indians. To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings, giving double honors unto my apostles, my elders, and my teachers at Great Millstone that are ruling well and continue to do so, that taught me and brothers like me this truth, this beautiful truth, beginning with the names of our power and of his anointed. Now these are the two most important things you will ever know coming into this truth: the name of the Heavenly Father and the name of his only begotten Son. Now the name of the Heavenly Father is YAHAWAH. Yah meaning he, Hawa meaning exists or is or is to be. He is, he exists, he the existing one. And in the name of his only begotten Son, a name above every name, given amongst men here on earth, to the Israelite man first, and also to the believers, consisting of women, children, helps of the prophets, and those that have faith, the name YAHAWASHI. Yah meaning he, Hawashai meaning deliverer and savior. And that is exactly what he's going to come do in these last and troubling days for the elect of Israel. For the remnant shall return unto the mighty God, Yahweh, being the Almighty One, the Holy One of Israel, who shall send his Son at the end of this age, the age of Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white men and his people, the end of their time, their uninterrupted rule, and shall bring forth the rule of Mashiach, or Ha-Mashiach in the Hebrew, meaning the anointed. Ha meaning the, Mashiach meaning anointed, where you get the word Messiah from, okay? So without further ado, Lord's willing, this is an edifying lesson. And Lord's willing, I call this lesson. Let me get the scripture with Abraham. That's where I'm going to stem the name of this lesson from. I believe it was Genesis 15, where Abraham was speaking to the Lord, and the Lord told him, yep, Lord's when I call this lesson, thy exceeding great reward. Was when I call it that. Now let's get into it. It's Genesis 15 and 1. After these things, the word of Yahweh came unto Abram. Abram, which is our forefather, whose name was changed to Abraham, because Abaram, meaning exalted father. Abba meaning father, Ram meaning exalted in the Hebrew. Now Abraham is a father, Abba again, father of a multitude. Okay? And it reads, after these things, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto Abram in a vision, saying, fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. So I'm going to stem the lesson off of this verse here, or the part of it. Thy exceeding great reward, Lord, is when I call it that. And those scriptures I read, amen. That's what it's all about. Let's go back there. Ecclesiasticus 41. Is it 41 or 43? Bear with me, brothers. Yep. It was 41 and 12. Have regard to thy name, for that shall continue with thee above 1,000 great treasures of gold. Look at the names that we remember. Abraham, our forefather. Isaac, the son of promise. Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, Yahshua, he, prince of the power. Yah meaning he, Shar meaning prince, Allah meaning power, which is synonymous with he, son of God. Because a prince is the son of a king. So he, prince, power. He, son of God. There you go. Israel. All right, and then you have other great names. Moses. Okay, Aaron. Joshua, Caleb. Phineas. All right, David. The different judges. Samson, Jephthah, Gideon. All right, the disciples. All right, Peter, John, James. You know. The Lord himself, YAHAWASHI. That's the ultimate name right there under the Father's name. YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Okay, and then you also have the prophets, the great prophets that we still read about today: Jeremiah, Isaiah, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Habakkuk, all right, Obadiah. These great men, and these names last forever because our forefathers, these great men, had a regard unto their name, and their name was a nomen omen, a name prediction. What their name was would define what they would do in their life. So our name that's been placed on us, our Hebrew names, is that not defining who we are in this life? Call Yumla Yahabashimashai. So Lord's willing, this is an edifying lesson. Going into, we're going to lose things, Akim. It happened to our fathers in the past, but they trusted in Yahweh Shemashai. David here in this song, he had enemies from all areas, man, from his family to actual enemies, to the heathen, all right, to those of his own house. That's for our learning. The things that were written aforetime were written for our learning. Then you have my man Tobit. All that he had was taken away. All right, in this society, the things we possess, so to speak, shall be taken away. But was Tobit moved from his faith in Yahweh Shemashai? I think not. Then you have Matthias and his sons during the time of the Maccabees, when things were being changed, and men of these other nations and even men of our nation were falling away from their customs and their culture and from their religion, so to speak, their worship, to follow the ways that were not good. But what did Matthias and his sons do? They fled into the wilderness. And whoever was for the Lord and his justice, come with us, fight. And Yahweh Shemashai will fight for you. So we're coming into those times where we're going to have to gird up our loins and have integrity like our forefathers that came before us. So Lord's willing, this is edifying, and let's get into it. Ecclesiasticus 41:13, a good life have but few days, but a good name endureth forever. And that's it. Now let's get into this Psalm of David. It's Psalm 3:1, a Psalm of David when he fled from Absalom, his son. Lord, Yahawah, Bashim Yahushai, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me, and that's what's coming. Jacob's trouble, times of evil, danger, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, but the Lord will lift up a standard against them. Okay? NLT, a Psalm of David regarding the time David fled from his son Absalom. Okay? Because many going to try to sell you out, deliver you up to the judges and kings and authorities, just like YAHAWASHI was delivered up. But he knew his purpose. He knew his mission and what his name entailed. YAHAWASHI, he, deliverer, he, savior. He came to deliver our people from their sins through his blood and to save our people, to save the nation, beginning with the hopeful elect and those that believed on his name. How about that? So he knew the mission. He's like, I don't give a damn about, none of the other things. That's why he even had to rebuke Peter. When Peter's like, nah, Lord, they ain't going to arrest you, ain't going to take you. And the Lord said, you regard the things of men, but not the things of the Lord. And told him, get behind me, Satan. And Satan just means adversary. So the Lord told Peter to get behind him. You're my adversary right now. Get behind me. I came to do this, and it will be done. Now this is Psalm 3 and 2. Well, let me read it in the NLT. O Lord, Yahweh Bashimashai, I have so many enemies. So many are against me. Verse 2. Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God. Yahweh Bashimashai. And that's what they're going to say in this time when we deny the chip. When we deny this man's system, when we deny his society and his power structure, they're going to look at, there ain't no help for the Lord. He has no help in God. He can't deliver his soul. But the Lord is going to preserve our souls, save our souls alive. Okay? This is NLT, the NLT, verse 2, NLT. So many are saying, Yahweh will never rescue him. God will never rescue him. Interlude. Let the music play. Verse 3, but thou, O Lord, Yahweh Bashimashai, art a shield for me. Woo! Did not the Lord tell that to Abraham? I am thy shield. and thy exceeding great reward. Woo! There it is. Psalm 3:3. But thou, O Lord, Yahweh Bashimashah, art a shield for me, my glory, and the lifter up of mine head. NLT. But you, O Lord, Yahweh Bashimashah, art a shield around me. You are my glory, the one who holds my head high. Beautiful. Psalm 3:4. Now let's go into David's name, beloved. Beloved. He was beloved of the Lord. In all his lifetime, the Lord was with him. When he was a youth, watching over the sheep, the Lord gave him the power to overcome a lion and a bear to keep the sheep. When he was yet still a youth, the Lord allowed him to kill a great warrior, a giant, Goliath, by having a stone in the sling. And David slung it, and it sunk into Goliath's head, and he fell down to his face to the earth, and then took his sword and took his head off with his own sword. The Lord was with him. And then throughout all his battles and wars, he always counseled with the Lord whether he would win the battle or not win. And even in the midst of David falling by sin, him numbering the people, him killing Uriah, and him taking Uriah's wife in adultery, the Lord was still with him, showing that the Lord loved him. He was beloved of the Lord. And this was David being on the run from his son Absalom because of what he did with Bathsheba. In secret, Absalom did with David's concubines in the open to all Israel to see. But yet the Lord was still with David. David was still beloved, as his name stated. Okay, now let's get that real quick. Already got the etymology online. Okay, let's get beloved. Here we go. The word beloved, to please, be pleased with. So the Lord was pleased with David because his mind, his intent was never evil. Though he might have did evil things, his intent was never evil. One who is beloved, to love. The Lord loved David. The Lord loves us, the descendants of Jacob. The Lord loves his elect, who stand apart from the rest of the nation, the chosen of the chosen nation. So I like you for all that noise. Hate motorcycles, I really do. Loud pieces of crap. All right, but yeah, beloved, right? To love, to be pleased with, to please. All right, that's David's name. Let's go back to the Psalm of David. Psalm 3:4. I cried unto the Lord, Yahawah, Bashim with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. Salah. In the NLT. I cried out to the Lord, Yahawah, Bashim and he answered me from his holy mountain. Interlude. As the Lord in Psalm 18, when David was in the fierce battle, the Lord sent a chariot, which the world is ignorantly called a UFO, a spaceship, to deliver David out of the battle. That's what the Lord YAHAWASHI is going to come back on. That chariot, that fathership, to save his elect that cried day and night unto him. I laid me down and slept. I awaked, for the Lord Yahawah, Bashim Yahushai, sustained me. And that reminds me of Jacob when he was on the run from Esau. And he made the stones his pillows. Stones. The Lord laid him down and he slept. Bear with me. Okay, whoo, that's it. Okay, yep. Let's go here. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 28, verse 10. And Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran, and he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of Yahawah ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord Yahawah, Bashim Yahushai, stood above it. and said, I am the Lord Yahawah, BAHASHAM Yahawashi, power of Abraham thy father, and the God of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. Verse 14, and thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Sit. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of. And Jacob awaked out of his sleep, and he said, surely the Lord Yahawah, BAHASHAM Yahawashi, is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of Yahawah, BAHASHAM Yahawashi, and this is the gate of heaven. Ooh. And Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put for pillows and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil upon it, oil upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel, but the name of that city was called Luz at the first. All right. So the Bethel, going into the Hebrew, is Bayath Allah. Bayath being the Beth part, and Allah being the El part. So Bayath meaning house, Allah, power, house, power, house of the power. Okay, now let's go to that word. So Genesis 20. So it's known as the house of the power after Jacob left it, but it was known as Luz when Jacob first arrived. Now let's get the word Luz. Okay, in the scripture. Okay. Here we go, the word Luz. I believe it's Lawaz in the Hebrew, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. The Hebrew word there is Lawaz. Okay, and it means almond tree. So it's a place of growing. All right, almond tree. So that was a place for Jacob to grow closer to the Lord. All right, it's all spiritual. And that's pretty much it. As growing there. So it's a growing pain for Jacob. Jacob not knowing really where he was going to go, but knowing that Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi was with him made him strong. Let's get up out of there. Let's go back to Psalm 3. And it reads, I lay me down and slept. I awaked, for the Lord sustained me. Sit. NLT, I lay down and slept, yet I woke up in safety. For the Lord Yahawah, BAHASHAM Yahawashi, was watching over me. Verse 6, I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about. NLT, I am not afraid of 10,000 enemies who surround me on every side. Verse 7, arise, O Lord Yahawah, BAHASHAM Yahawashi, save me, O my power, for thou hast smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone. That's what the Lord is going to do. He's going to smite all of our enemies round about us, whether seen or not seen. It says, thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly, their military might, their weaponry, their prowess. It's in Psalm 3 and 7, NLT. Arise, O Lord, Yahawah, BAHASHAM Yahawashi, rescue me, my power. Slap all my enemies in the face. Shatter the teeth of the wicked. That's it. Verse 8, salvation belongeth unto the Lord Yahawah, BAHASHAM Yahawashi. Thy blessing is upon thy people. Salah, NLT. Victory comes from you, O Lord, Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi. May you bless your people interlude. Let the music play. Okay? And that's it. Now I want to go somewhere else. Bear with me. I'm going to go to the book of Tobit, and then we're going to go to the book of the Maccabees. And we're going to show how the Lord was with Abraham. He was with our forefather Isaac and Jacob. We read just briefly how David prayed out to the Lord, and the Lord was there, okay, in his distress. Now we're going to go into the book of Tobit 1. Bear with me. This is the book of Tobit, chapter 1, verse 1. In the modern translation, I am Tobit, and this is the story of my life. My father was Tobiel, my grandfather was Ananiel, and my great-grandfather was Aduel. Aduel's father was Gabael. His grandfather was Raphael. And his great-grandfather was Raguel, who belonged to the clan of Isael, a part of the tribe of Naphtali, which is in northern Israel, surrounded Galilee, Sea of Galilee, neighboring cities, the land of Naphtali. All right, one of the tribes. It says, during the time that Shalmaneser was emperor of Assyria, which is king, I was taken captive in my hometown of Thisba, located in northern Galilee, south of Kadesh in Naphtali, northwest of Hazar, and north of Pogar. All my life, I have been honest and have tried to do what was right. I often gave money to help needy relatives and other Jews who have been deported with me to Nineveh. As you know, the history, all right, of what happened to our people, all right, and how they were by the Assyrian kings taken out of the land of Israel and deported into the Assyrian lands, okay, and then from there sailed to the New World, which is recorded in the book of 2 Edges 13. Now, reading on, well, I'll read from the middle. Located in northern Galilee, south of Kadesh, in Naphtali, northwest of Hazor, and north of Pogar. All my life, I have been honest and have tried to do what was right. I often gave money to help needy relatives and other Jews who had been deported with me to Nineveh, the capital of Assyria. When I was young, I lived in northern Israel. All the tribes in Israel were supposed to offer sacrifices in Jerusalem. It was the one city that YAHAWAH had chosen from among all the Israelite cities as the place where his temple was to be built for his holy and eternal home. But my entire tribe of Naphtali rejected the city of Jerusalem, and the kings descended from David. Like everyone else in this tribe, my own family used to go to the city of Dan in the mountains of northern Galilee to offer sacrifices to the gold bull calf which King Jeroboam of Israel had set up there. Yet I was the only one in my family who regularly went to Jerusalem to celebrate the religious festivals, as the laws of Moses commanded everyone to do. I would hurry off to Jerusalem with the first part of my harvest, the firstborn of my animals, a tenth of my cattle, and the freshly clipped wool from my sheep. Then I would stand before the altar in the temple and give these offerings to the priests, the descendants of Aaron. I would give a tenth of my grain, wine and olive oil, pomegranates, figs, and other fruits to the Levites who served Yahweh in Jerusalem. Every year except the 7th year, when the land was at rest, I would sell a second tenth of my possessions and spend the money in Jerusalem on the festival meal. But every third year, I would give a third tithe. Let me read that again. But every third year, I would give a third tithe to widows and orphans and to foreigners living among my people. And we would eat the festival meal together. I did this in keeping with the laws of Moses, which Deborah, the mother of my grandfather, Ananiel, had taught me to be, or Salakia. I did this in keeping the law of Moses, which Deborah, the mother of my grandfather, Ananiel, had taught me to obey. I had been left an orphan when my father died. When I grew up, I married Anna, a member of my own tribe. Okay, let's read that again. Salakia. It says, when I grew up, I married Anna, a member of my own tribe. We had a son and named him Tobias. Later, I was taken captive and deported to Assyria. Goes to show that Tobit was around that time where the northern kingdom was taken down and taken into Assyria. Okay? Put into slavery. When I grew up, I married Anna, a member of my own tribe. We had a son and named him Tobias. Later, I was taken captive and deported to Assyria. And that is how I came to live in Nineveh. While we lived in Nineveh, all my relatives and other Jews used to eat the same place. Salakia. I seen something else. It says, later, I was taken captive and deported to Assyria. And that is how I came to live in Nineveh. While we lived in Nineveh, all my relatives and the other Jews used to eat the same kind of foods as the other people who lived there, which our people went off. But I refused to do so. And that's what brothers do. When this man comes down with his RFID madness, we gonna stand the test. We're gonna be like David. How many enemies have gathered themselves against me? But the Lord is gonna hear our cry. And just like Tobit, I just want to get a certain point. Is the history. You can go into Shalmaneser, then you can go into his son Sennacherib, and how they took down the northern kingdom. But look how much faith Tobit had, even when all this was happening to him.
And Jacob.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Okay. But let me read verse 10 again. Modern translation. Later, I was taken captive and deported to Assyria, and that is how I came to live in Nineveh. While we lived in Nineveh, all my relatives and the other Jews used to eat the same kind of food as the other people who lived there. Now, you see how even in the time of Daniel, when the southern kingdom was taken down and they went into Babylon and they were made to eat the king's meat, how Daniel, through the permission of YAHAWASHI, asking the man that was over him to make him presentable before the king Nebuchadnezzar, he told him, let me and my companions eat only vegetables and water. And then let the other men eat the meat, and let's see if we fare better than them after 10 days. So Tobit is doing the same thing, but only in the northern kingdom captivity of Assyria. All right? So a lot of our people fell away and was eating the madness of these heathens. They didn't keep to the dietary laws, okay, in this sense. But this is Tobit speaking. But I refused to do so, since I took seriously the commands of the Most High God. He made Emperor Shalmaneser respect me. So the Lord gave Tobit favor in the sight of the king. How about that? BARAK YAHAWASHI. Will not YAHAWASHI give us favor in the sight of the king? All right, just like our forefather Abraham, who for his sakes, he told Sarah, his wife, all right, we're going to go down into Egypt because a great famine hit the land. They went down into Egypt. The Lord told them to go into Egypt. But then Abraham, being wise, told Sarah, hey, tell them that you're my sister and not my wife, because if they know that you're my wife, they'll kill me and take you. All right? But Abraham was wise in that, because the king himself, the Lord, went into his dreams and was like, you better not touch this woman. She's married. And then the dude, let me get that account, actually. How the Lord is just with us all the way through. See here, my sister. Okay. Ooh. Here we go. And this is what the king is going to say. Well, let me just read all the way down through that. And this is Genesis 12 and 13. Say, I pray thee, this is Abraham speaking, our forefather, thou art my sister. He's talking to our foremother, Sarah, okay? By whom's womb came Isaac, the son of promise, okay? It says, say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. And it came to pass that when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman, which was Sarah, that she was very fair, which is beautiful. The princess also of Pharaoh, the princes also of Pharaoh saw her and commanded her before Pharaoh, or commended her, before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And he entreated Abram well for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen and he-asses and men servants and maid servants and she-asses and camels. And the Lord, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Woo! And let's see what our forefather Abram, whose name is going to be changed to Abraham, is going to say. Because the Lord had favor on him, just as the Lord had favor on Tobit and on many of our forefathers, David, and all our forefathers that trusted in Yahawah BAHASHAM without flaw, man, without wavering. And this is what Abraham said, or Abram at the time. Why saidest thou, she is my sister, so I might have taken her to me to wife? Now therefore, behold thy wife, take her and go thy way. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away and his wife and all that he had. And that's the spirit. You see? You already know. Okay. And that's it. And Abraham got out of there. Let's go. That's the spirit. BARAK YAHAWAH BAHASHAM. Now let's jump down to Tobit 1 and 11. But I refused to do so, eating of the meat of the people of the land. But he kept to the commands of Yahawah BAHASHAM. Verse 12. Since I took seriously the commands of the Most High God, he made Emperor Shalmaneser, which was a king, King Shalmaneser, respect me. And I was placed in charge of purchasing all the emperor's supplies, all the king's supplies, right? That's great favor. Before the emperor died, or the king died, I made regular trips to the land of Media to buy things for him there. Once, when I was in the city of Rages in Media, I left some bags of money there with Gabael. And we already know that Gabael is a family, a member of Tobit's, all right? Gabrius's brother, and asked him to keep them for me. There were more than 600 pounds of silver coins in those bags. When Shalmaneser died, his son Sennacherib, which is the same Sennacherib that went up against Jerusalem during the time of Hezekiah, but Hezekiah prayed to the Lord, and, Sennacherib was talking his mess, and the Lord sent one angel to destroy 185,000 of Sennacherib's men in the camp. And when Sennacherib arose, seeing that his army was dead, and seeing that he was going to go up against Jerusalem, but he was talking mess against the God of Israel, that our God, our power, sent one angel to destroy 185,000 of his men. And then Sennacherib fled home, and then two of his sons killed him. And Tobit here is about to bring the account, because we read it from the side of Hezekiah and them coming up against Jerusalem in Isaiah, the 36th chapter, because Isaiah was the prophet during the reign of Hezekiah the king, and he was letting Hezekiah know, like, hey man, don't even do nothing. Like, this man ain't gonna shoot an arrow against the city. He's gonna be destroyed. But let's see it from Tobit's point of view, because you gotta remember, the northern kingdom had already been taken away into Assyria. They already had been disbanded out of the land. And then Sennacherib, being proud because he took down the northern kingdom, he thought he could take down the southern kingdom. But no, it was not so. Why? Because majority of the northern kingdom went into idol worship, as Tobit stated. And the southern kingdom was still sovereign and still subject unto YAHAWAH, the true power of heaven and earth. And that's why the Lord did not allow the southern kingdom to go down. But they would eventually go down by way of the Babylonians. Okay? But this is verse 15. When Shalmaneser died, his son Sennacherib succeeded him as emperor or king, right? It soon became so dangerous to travel on the roads in Media that I could no longer go there. And this is how you see the setup of the story, how Tobias, his son, Tobit's son, Tobias would go on a journey to get the money from Gabrius. But guess who was traveling with him? It wasn't just some young man that Tobit seen fit to travel with his son, that he was of a good stock, but not knowing that the man that his son Tobias was traveling with was an angel. And that angel was Raphael, Raphael, which is the healing of the power, healed of the power. All right, one of the 7 angels and one of the 4 archangels, because you have Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael. And then you go into the Hebrew, Michael, he that is like God. Okay. Then you have Gabar Allah, which is Gabriel, which is a warrior of the power. Gabar, warrior, Allah, power. Then you have Uriel, a warrior Allah, light of the power. And then you have Rapaya Allah, which is healed of the power, healing of the power. You see? Now let's keep reading. It says, an exceeding great reward. Now we see what David prayed for and how he was delivered out of all his dangers. Then we're reading about Tobit here, and then we're going to read about Mattathias and his sons and how the Lord was with him and his sons. All right, and how the Lord he's with us in all our ups and downs, dangers, whatever. The Lord is there. Okay, it says, when Shalmaneser died, his son Sennacherib succeeded him as emperor. It soon became so dangerous to travel on the roads in Media that I could no longer go there. While Shalmaneser was still emperor, I took good care of mine own people whenever they were in need. If they were hungry, I shared my food with them. If they needed clothes, I gave them some of my own. Whenever I saw that the dead body of one of my people had been thrown outside the city wall, I gave it a decent burial. One day, Sennacherib cursed God. He cursed our power. And that was him going up against Jerusalem, which Tobit heard about. Like, hold up. Okay, this dude is bugging out. He cursed our God, our Lord. Okay? One day, Sennacherib cursed God. The king of heaven, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, punished him. And Sennacherib had to retreat. Why? Because he sent that angel to slay his army outside the walls of Jerusalem. From Judah, on his way back to Media, he was so furious that he killed many Israelites. So this dude was so furious that he lost the battle. He destroyed certain of the northern kingdom that was under his hand. But guess what happened to his ass, though, not too long after? It says, on his way back to Media, he was so furious that he killed many Israelites. It reminds me of that demon Antiochus Epiphanes, or Antiochus, however you want to say it. This damn demon, wherever he got fucked up or he lost some certain battle, he would take it out on Israel. He would take it out on Judah, Benjamin, Levi, preferably during that time. And we're going to jump into that with Mattathias and his sons and his story. Okay, and Lord's willing, this is edifying. All right. I was a little tired a little earlier, but Salakia, bear with me. Let's get into it. It says, on his way back to Midian, verse 18, he was so furious that he killed many Israelites. But I secretly removed the bodies and buried them. And when Sennacherib later searched for the bodies, he could not find them. Then someone from Nineveh told the emperor or king that I was the one who had been burying his victims. As soon as I realized that the emperor or king, or rather they just put king, but you already know emperor is king, emperor, king, same thing. It says, as soon as I realized that the emperor or king knew all about me and that my life was in danger, I became frightened. So I ran away and hid. Everything I owned was seized, and that's what's going to happen eventually. When this system crashes, when they bring in that digital system, everything you own, like that demon Klaus Schwab said, you shall own nothing and be happy. But let's see how Tobit moved when all his possessions were seized, save for his wife and his son, okay? Because the Lord had mercy on him in that sense. Everything I own was seized and put in the royal treasury. Now, let's go into what David was speaking about when Absalom came up against him. So your own household rising up against you. People wanting to see you dead. Your enemies surrounding you on every side. Then here in Tobit, his possessions were seized. Only because he was doing the right thing. But let's see how the Lord was with him. Everything I owned was seized and put into the royal treasury. My wife Anna and my son Tobias were all I had left. About 6 weeks later, 2 of Sennacherib's sons assassinated him and then escaped to the mountain of Ararat. Let's get that account. Let's see here. Let's see here, the account. Slew him. Sons slew him. Sons slew. Okay. It's in the book of Kings, if I'm not mistaken. Bear with me, brothers. Bear with me, brothers. Let's put in just Sennacherib. See if I can spell it right. Okay. There we go. Here we go. Right here is the account. Now, I'll start at verse 33. 2 Kings 19 and 33. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and he shall not come into this city, saith the Lord YAHAWAH. BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. For I will defend this city, Jerusalem, to save it for mine own sake and for my servant David's sake. And this is what Tobit is hearing about. While you see what's going on in his life. Okay, he buried certain of his people that were slain. He buried them. He gave them a proper burial. And the same demon Sennacherib, after he lost the battle here at Jerusalem, he returned and destroyed the northern kingdom, a certain of the northern kingdom of Israel, dwelling in Nineveh and different parts of his empire. Okay, but let's get the account. This is 2 Kings 19 and 35. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, went out and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. Fourscore is a score is 20, so fourscore is 80. 185, and you have 5,000 and 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, Sennacherib and his men that survived, that were spared, left alive, so to speak. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned. And now we know that he slew Israel when he returned, because he's a demon. He's mad. He's butthurt. His pride was hurt. Right? It says, so Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned and dwelt at Nineveh, which Tobit is in Nineveh, right? Okay. And it came to pass, as he was worshiping in the house of Nisroch, his god, his damn idol, that Adramelech and Sherezer, his sons, smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Armenia, and Ashhedon, his son, reigned in his stead. Now let's get it here. It says about 6 weeks later, after he returned to Nineveh, right? After his defeat at Jerusalem by that angel, right? About 6 weeks later, 2 of Sennacherib's sons assassinated him and then escaped to the mountains of Ararat. Those 2 sons were Adramelech and Sherezer. Yep. And it says, another son, Esarhaddon, which is right here in 2 Kings 19:37, right? It says, another son, Esarhaddon, became emperor or king and put Ahikar, my brother, Anael's son, in charge of all financial affairs of the empire. Now, this was Tobit's nephew. Okay, Ahikar was his brother, or Ahikar was his brother's son. And his brother was Anael's son, or Anael, yep. But he was set over the financial affairs of the empire, right? See how our people was always in a good state, especially those that kept to the ways of YAHAWASHI. Just like Daniel and his companions, they were set in the highest state in the Babylonian Empire because they feared YAHAWASHI. And you see how David was saved out of the hands of Absalom, his son, when you go into the histories, that he was victorious. All right, because he feared YAHAWASHI. That is the sentiment of the whole thing. That is the key. That is the main centerpiece, is the fear of YAHAWASHI. Now let's read on. It says, this was actually the second time Ahikar was appointed to this position. For when Sennacherib was emperor of Assyria, or king, Ahikar had been wine steward, which is like the king's cupbearer, treasurer, and accountant, and had been in charge of the official seal. Since Ahikar was my nephew, he put in a good word for me with the emperor, the king, and I was allowed to return to Nineveh. Woo! See how the Lord, man, was there the whole time? BARAK YAHAWASHI. You see? You ain't got nothing to fear, man. Let's go to Tobit, the second chapter. Okay? This is Tobit 2:1. When I returned home, I was reunited with my wife, Anna, and my son, Tobias. Hey, oh yeah, because Tobit happened to be in, where was he at before that? He was in, he had left, he had went somewhere. He returned to Nineveh, but where was he at before? Let's go back to Salakia. Let's go back to Tobit, the first chapter. Okay, where was he at though? Okay, he had went somewhere. Let's see, Jews. Okay, I believe he traveled down to Jerusalem, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Because Tobit's letting you it was too dangerous to travel on the roads. Oh, he was in Media. And he had to go back to Nineveh. All right, so he was in Media, and he had to go back to Nineveh. Nineveh was the capital city of ancient Assyria, and that's where Tobias and Tobit's wife Anna were. And he's like, man, I got to get back to them, you know. But you see how the Lord provided that way, that road. Now this is see where we're at, not bad. And then it's all historical. It's all, you see the history, man. Call YAHAWASHI. All right. And this is going into the reign of Hezekiah and how Hezekiah was sick, and then the Lord added 15 more years unto his life. Call YAHAWASHI. Okay. Now I want to get Sirach, the second chapter, man. Let's go here. Sirach 2:1. All right. This is Ecclesiasticus 2:1, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, Yahweh, BAHASHAM, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. We seen it with Abraham. We seen it, man, Abraham, David, Tobit. You know, we're going to see it with Mattathias. Man, we seen how our forefathers moved in the spirit. Because of their fear of the Lord, they always had favor. And they were very wise, and they were of quick perception. Sagacious. That's the word, sagacious. They're of quick perception. The Lord always got them in and out of certain situations. If they found themselves in a situation, the Lord will get them out of the situation. That's why the Lord is our exceeding great reward. Okay? It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, testing. Set thy heart aright, your mind, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. None of our forefathers made haste in their time of trouble. They just believed and sought the Lord and did good works and good acts, that their names are now remembered even to our time, as I read at the beginning of this lesson. Okay? It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him. So all of our forefathers would cleave unto YAHAWASHI. And how do you cleave to the Lord? Through faith. Faith is the beginning of cleaving unto him. Lord, when I get that. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased, at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. Now Tobit was changed to a lower state. His possessions were seized. You see that? And we know that that's coming, Jacob's trouble. That time when we're going to have to move as pilgrims on the earth. Okay? There it is. So we're gonna know that YAHAWASHI is with us. We're going to remain cheerful, even in our lower state. And we're going to remain patient. We're going to just suffer it, knowing that YAHAWASHI is dealing with us. Here it is. Ecclesiasticus 2:5. For Yahweh, for YAHAWASHI, he deals with those that have faith. It says, for gold is tried in the fire. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men, in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, Yahweh, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, wait for his mercy. And go not aside, lest ye fall. We see it in the life of Daniel. We see it in the life of David, Abraham. All of our forefathers, Jacob, when he was on the run from and he had that dream, and the Lord was with him, and he said, I did not know the Lord was in this place. All right? You see? It says, ye that fear the Lord, Yahweh BAHASHAM, believe him, and your reward, shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, Yahweh BAHASHAM, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Now the point is 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord Yahweh BAHASHAM and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord Yahweh BAHASHAM is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction. Call on him, man. Cleaving. You know, we gotta have faith. All of our forefathers had it. Those that move righteously, they had it. This is Ecclesiasticus 25:12. The fear of the Lord Yahweh BAHASHAM is the beginning of his love, and faith is the beginning of cleaving unto him. Now let's read Tobit 2:1. When I returned home, I was reunited with my wife Anna and my son Tobias. And just think, brothers, in that time of trouble, you may not be with your wife or your children, but you're going to know that YAHAWASHI will reunite you with them, whether it be in this life or the next. But just know you will be reunited with them, man. Come on. Is there anything too hard for YAHAWASHI? I think not. It says, when I returned home, I was reunited with my wife Anna and my son Tobias at the harvest festival, which is also called the Festival of Weeks, the Feast of Weeks. You see that? I sat down to a delicious meal When I saw how much food there was on the table, I said to Tobias, son, go out and find one of our people who is living in poverty here in exile, someone who takes Yahweh's commands seriously. Bring him back with you so that he can share this festival meal with us, the Feast of Weeks, right? The first of your increase, and then you have the first and latter rains, right? Let's get that Feast of Weeks. Salaki, I'm just jumping in and out through history and how YAHAWASHI is with us. Feast of Weeks, Feast of Tabernacles, Feast of Unleavened Bread. Let me get the Feast of Weeks. All right. We're keeping the ways of our Lord in exile in this place. And you see how the Lord is blessing, brothers? Whether you be in a low state or high or wherever you at, YAHAWASHI is it's with you, man. And this is exactly what I'm reading. I'll read it in the regular translation. Now when I was come home again, and my wife Anna was restored unto me with my son Tobias in the feast of Pentecost, which is the holy feast of 7 weeks, there was a good dinner prepared me, in which I sat down to eat. Now let's go to, all right, Feast of Weeks with Pentecost. That's the only way it's going to come up in the New Testament is Pentecost. This is Exodus 34 and 22. And thou shalt observe the Feast of Weeks of the first fruits of wheat harvest, and the Feast of Ingathering at the year's end. But this is the beginning of it, I believe. It's the beginning of the Feast of Weeks. And then you got the first harvest, first fruits, wheat harvest, and you have the ingathering at the year's end, right? Deuteronomy, that was Exodus 34:22. This Deuteronomy 16:10. And thou shalt keep the Feast of Weeks unto the Lord YAHWASHI thy power with a tribute of a free will offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto the Lord YAHWASHI thy power, according as the Lord YAHWASHI thy power have blessed thee. You see how even in exile was Tobit blessed, right? And he gave unto the Lord. And then he said, go find one of our brethren that keeps the commands of the Lord and takes them seriously, and bring him in here, and we're going to eat with him. We're going to celebrate. All right? This is Deuteronomy 16 and 16. 3 times in a year shall all males appear before the Lord thy power in the place which he shall choose, which is Jerusalem, in the feast of unleavened bread, that's the Passover, and the feast that goes the days after the actual ceremony, 7 days a week. And it says, and in the Feast of Weeks, which Tobit was keeping, and in the Feast of Tabernacles, which you have to leave your home and go into a tent in the wilderness, like Gad does and Reuben and the other tribes tend to do, and even Issachar, they tend to just lay out in the field, just chilling, you know. But we're supposed to keep that to remind us of how the Lord kept us in the wilderness those 40 years, right? And they shall not appear before the Lord empty. Now let's get back to the point. This verse 2. When I saw how much food there was on the table, I said to Tobias, son, go out and find one of our people who is living in poverty here in exile, someone who takes Yahweh's commands seriously. Bring him back with you so that he can share this festival meal, Feast of Weeks, with us. I won't start eating until you come back. So Tobias went out to look for such a person, but he quickly returned shouting, Father, Father. Yes, what is it? I asked. One of our people has just been murdered. Someone strangled him and threw his body into the marketplace. I jumped up and left the table without even touching my food. I removed the body from the street and carried it to a little shed where I left it until sunset. When I could bury it, then I returned home and washed so as to purify myself, because if you touch a dead body, you're unclean. When I could bury it, then I returned home and washed so as to purify myself. In deep sorrow, I ate my dinner. And I was reminded of what the prophet Amos had said to the people of Bethel. Your festivals or your feasts will be turned into funerals, into mourning. Your feasts will be turned into mourning, right? And your glad songs will become cries of grief. I began to weep. After sunset, I went out, dug a grave, and buried the man. My neighbors thought I was crazy. Haven't you learned anything? going into the other Israelites talking a shit, right? You have already been hunted down once for burying the dead, and you would have been killed if you had not run away. But here you are doing the same thing all over again, because we're going to keep doing what we got to do. The hell with these damn demons and these devils and our enemies and the heathen and 2/3. We're going to keep doing the will of YAHAWASHI, and you're going to see the power thereof, how the Lord gets us out of every situation we shall find ourselves in, especially in Jacob's trouble. Then shall you know who are the Lord's chosen. Let me get that, chosen. Because our people are going to be hunted down by these soldiers, okay? And then at that very same time, you're going to know who are the Lord's chosen. Here we go. 2nd Esdras 16-73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Hence, Jacob's trouble. All right. Verse 9. That night I washed so as to purify myself and went out into my country, or courtyard, Salakia, to sleep by the wall. It was a hot night, and I did not pull the cover up over my head. And this is when Tobit is going to be blinded. And then it sets everything in motion in the book of Tobit. So with that, I'm going to go into the next verse, and I'm going to close out this lesson going into Mattathias and his sons. Okay, let's go to the book of 1 Maccabees 2. All right, and I marked the different places that I want to hit. This is 1 Maccabees 2:1. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John. Now this goes into the importance of our lineage and where we come from. That gives you that integrity, that puts into your spirit, like, hold up, my forefathers had integrity. They stood on the principles of YAHAWASHI. They ain't give a damn about the enemy. They ain't give a damn about people calling them out. And great kings had to were subject unto these men, because the fear of YAHAWASHI was on our forefathers, that the Lord showed them great favor in the sight of kings and tyrants and whoever the hell. So let's read. This first Maccabees 2:1. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Jorib, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons, Johanan, called QADASH, Simon called Thassi, Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar called Avaran, and Jonathan, whose surname was Apphus. Yep. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, woe is me! Wherefore was I born to see the misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, being Antiochus Epiphanes, ugly-ass Edomites, goddamn Greeks, pieces of shit, right? So you go into the history, that's what was going on. When it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers, her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets, her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom, going into Jerusalem, Israel, and gotten her spoils, gotten of her spoils? All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman she is become a bondslave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory, is laid waste, and the Gentiles, the heathen, have profaned it. To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer? Then Mattathias and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourn very sore. In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city, Modin, to make them sacrifice swine and all this other bullshit that we're not commanded to sacrifice on the altar. The Lord requires certain things to sacrifice. Okay? But now in this time, the Lord is only accepting the blood of his son and us presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice. That is the only thing that shall be accepted. Nothing else. All right? And you have to come in the correct name, not in God and Jesus Christ or fucking Jesus Christo and whoever the fuck. No, YAHAWASHI, that's what shall be accepted in the time that we're coming into, Jacob's trouble. All right, it says, then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on this wise, thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment to sacrifice unlawful things on the altar, which Mattathias was not having it. Like, F you, motherfucker. You know, he's in that spirit. But F you, clown. It says, like as all the heathen have done. Yeah. And the men of Judah also. And some of our people had already fallen away. But he's like, hell no. And you got to remember, Mattathias, he's of the tribe of Levi, the priest. I mean, hell no. And you got it all twisted and effed up. You know, that you got Jake said, you got it all messed up. Like as all the heathen have done, yeah, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends. You don't want to be friends with ugly ass Edomite. That's what he was thinking. And thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. YAHAWAH forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews, which wasn't even permitted to sacrifice. It was only for Levi to do at that time. In the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment. Which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled, going into his mind, his spirit trembled. Motherfucker. Just, you know, when you clench your teeth and you just so angry that you know, that's how Mattathias was at this moment. Now, neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar, killed his ass. BARAK. Also the king's commissioner killed his ass too. And you can get it too, clown. It says, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time. And the altar he pulled down. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of YAHAWAH, like as Phinehas did unto Zamri, the son of Salam. Let's get that Phinehas. Yeah, I know I'm going overboard with, but I have to jump into these different counts, man. Phinehas. Phinehas. Let me see. This goes. Maybe it come up. Yep, there it is. Yep. Took a javelin in the hands and ran through the camp. All right. We'll read. Read on down then. On down to 11. Okay. And this is the same thing Mattathias did, which was Phinehas was of his line all the way down from his forefathers down to him. His forefather was Phinehas. All right. And he did the very same thing, which he could have been Phinehas, you know, in the reincarnation, if thou can receive it. Right. This is Numbers 25 and 7. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest saw it, what did he see? He saw something. Okay. Oh, there we go. This is Numbers 25 and 5. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand, and went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, both the man and the Midianitish woman, and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 20 and 4,000. And the Lord, YAHAWASHI, spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consumed not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace. Woo! Now let's jump back up to 1 Maccabees 2:27. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. And brothers, we're going to have to do this real soon when they bring forth that chip. When they bring forth this new world order, this NWO, we're going to have to flee and leave everything we have ever known in this society and go with YAHAWASHI. And the Lord is going to sustain us, man. We have to believe that. And we're going to have our things seized, just like Tobit had his good seed saved for his wife and his son Tobias, right? And then David had to flee out from Absalom, his son. But yet his kingdom was still standing. His kingdom was still intact, but yet he had to flee out, him and his men. And they had to, wait for a while until YAHAWASHI came through for them. Okay? And we're going to have to just remember all these things. All right? Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there, both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them. Now it's going to go into Jake that kept the Sabbath day, and they were slew. All right, and but this is what Mattathias said. Now, when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them, right? So, because some of our people ain't going to take the chip, but they're not going to be a part of the elect. Some Edomites and other people going to be, I don't believe in that. Fuck that. It talks about that in Revelation 13, right? But they're going to still be slain. A lot of our people still going to be killed, even though they're not going to do it. Something else is going to take them out. But yet they're going to die, a righteous death. But we, being that hopeful elect, knowing that when the enemy shall come in as a flood, the Lord is going to lift up a standard against them, and we're going to have that power. And the Lord going to turn us from fishers to hunters. And we're going to hunt these mother effers down from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rock. And we're going to execute the judgment. The Lord going to make us his battle axe and weapons of war. And with us, he's going to break in pieces the nations and peoples. Right? This is 1 Maccabees 2:40. And one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and the laws, fight for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth. At that time, therefore, they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we die all as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. And that's it. So, that's pretty much it, And let me read this, and I'm going to end it here. It's 1 Maccabees 2:48. So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles, the heathen, and out of the hands of kings, neither suffered they the sinner to triumph. Now, when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, now have pride and rebuke gotten strength, in the time of destruction, and the wrath of indignation. Now, therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name. Going back into the gist of this lesson, how we started this lesson, that name, and Lord's when I ended with that. Where we at, though? Okay. Woo, man. Okay, man, it's a lot. Here we go. Oh, 1 Maccabees 2:61. And thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him, YAHAWASHI, shall be overcome. Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms. Today shall he be lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned into his dust, and his thought is come to nothing. Wherefore, ye my sons, be valiant and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law, for by it shall ye obtain glory. And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear unto him always. He shall be a father unto you. As for Judas Maccabeus, he hath been mighty and strong, even from his youth up. Let him be your captain, and fight the battle of the people. Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge ye the wrong of your people. Recompense fully the heathen, and take heed to the commandments of the law. So he blessed him and was gathered to his fathers. BARAK YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Hey man, I can keep going for a million years, but hey, but the time will fail me. There's just so much to see and know of our forefathers and their might and their glory of Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. I'm gonna end it with this. Who is his strength? His strength. It's like his strength. Bam. All right. Here we go. Man. Ecclesiasticus 34:15. Blessed is the soul of him that feareth the Lord, to whom doth he look, and who is his strength. Woo! As people going to consider, man, who's he serve? Hold on. Verse 16. For the eyes of the Lord Yahweh, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection and strong stay, a defense from heat and a cover from the sun at noon, a preservation from stumbling and an help from falling. Verse 17, he raiseth up the soul and lighteneth the eyes. He giveth health, life, and blessing. And that's it. Now let's end it with what we started off with. Sirach 41 and was it 12 and 13? Yep. Have regard to thy name, for that shall continue with thee above 1,000 great treasures of gold. A good life hath but few days, but a good name endureth forever. So with that, giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH, by whom we do function, double honors unto my apostles, my elders, and my teachers at Great Millstone of the ruling well and continue to do so. Salutations, peace, and blessings unto the hopeful elect, that house of David, to you brothers out there fighting this good fight of faith, keep it up. To you sisters doing that which is becoming the women, Shalawam. And to those that are addicted unto this ministry, I say Shalawam. Lord's willing, you have been edified. Until the next time I say Shalawam, on to the next one. Shalawam.